So good morning, everybody. Am I? Can you hear me clear and louder? Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me
morning, sir.
clear?
Good
Yeah.
morning, sir.
Good mornings. So last class let us start. Last class we stopped here. We have seen the means the air which is going to the engine which has been compressed by the compressor, means the turbocharger in the compressor side, and then it's been cooled. So the density we can increase further, and then it's going to the, and also temperature is reducing, because it's very important for us to this to reduce the temperature, because if the temperature is high, that is the inlet temperature is high, and exhaust temperature also subsequently it will be higher. And there is a relation: if 1 degree temperature increases in the our air temperature, then 1.5 degrees centigrade the exhaust temperature will increase. It means if it is 5 degree increased here, exhaust temperature will be increased 7.5 degree centigrade, so 1.5 times. And we have seen certain cases actually on where the modern engine uses the high compression pressure. So there the temperature will be high, this temperature will be high, and accordingly we might not be able to reach to the dew point during the cooling. So what will happen? It will not get separated. If you can reach to the dew point, it will get separated, or below dew point, you can remove the moisture. That's it's the same thing what we have seen in the air conditioning. So how to remove the relative humidity we can reduce. So what will happen? The moisture won't be able to separate due to the temperature. Temperature will not be below the dew point. So then in that case, we solve this problem with this water separator or the water trap. So will be outlet, we have the water trap, so that the water, that the moisture gets separated at the water trap, and then it gets coming out from here. We remove from the system, and then the dry air goes inside, because we have seen the dry, if it is water contained, moisture carry, the air is carrying the moisture, then there will be effective, means there will be an adverse effect on the lubrication, as well as this with high velocity it will enter those mass of water, and that will have a scoring effect on the liner, and also it will wash out the lubrication, the cylinder lube oil. And in this diagram, it is another thing is given. You have a separate, separately it is also is given in details. So this diagram is having a cooling, I mean the cleaning of the turbo, I mean the cooler. Cooler periodically, the both side, you have one side is the seawater or the fresh water, another side is the air side. Air side has to be cooled. So I mean the clean. So how the cleaning is done? This is shown here. Just a brief. Let us see. These are the nozzle, and this is a pump, and this is a tank from where it is taking suction with the chemical and the water, and then there is a heating at higher temperature. Cleaning is better. That's why, and then it's recirculates to come back to the tank. It is also shown in this diagram. And after cleaning, we can have the flushing. That is the fresh water. It flush, it means it remove all the chemicals, and it cleans the outer surface, that is the air side, and then that, and also there is a drain which is going to the bilges. We can transfer it to the bilges or another tanks for disposal. So this is exactly same. What is it written? Let us see quickly. Just one second. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, sorry for the interruption. So now the it is the same thing what I told, but quickly just go through it. that compressor outlet pressure it increase and the temperature also increase, and then it is cooled and reduce the temperature. And the cooler consists of that extended area, that is fin tubes. And seawater cooled, it can be freshwater cooled also, because if it is you are using the LTHT, it will be freshwater cooled. And the cooler size, how it is decided, there are factors has been considered, that is the maximum ambient temperature that we have seen, that 45 degrees centigrade, and the maximum seawater temperature, and the maximum load of the engine. Based on this condition, the cooler size is decided. So that at maximum adverse condition, maximum extreme condition, still cooler can reduce the temperature to our desired temperature. So then the high density is increased of the air, so that the oxygen content also is increased. Then it goes to the, so that what is the reason for it? More fuel can be burned, because now more mass of air is available. And why we are to interested to the burning more fuel? More power can be developed. And this air should be kept clean from air, means the it should be, it means it has to be the air cooler to be clean. So that's the reason water side and the air side, both side we do clean, so that the optimum performance, that heat transfer rate is optimum. And water separator, we have seen where we especially need the water separator, because it has to remove the condensed water or the water vapor. So if we reduce to the dew point, we can separate, but not that every time we will be able to reduce the temperature to dew point. That is the reason we have, in addition to that, it means this is the reason what I just told also, that that is the oil film, that is the cylinder lubrication, it gets affected, it gets washed out, and also there will be a scoring on the surface. So that will be a frictional and the corrosive wear, because there is no cylinder lubrication in that area because of the water droplets. So there will be the corrosive and the frictional wear will be high. And also that will cause that sulfuric acid formation also. So the cooler temperature, the dew point, we can condense it, but it is not take place. It's not, every engine we won't be able to make it. So what we have a separator. So as I told you, that this is the relation between the inlet temperature of the air and the exhaust temperature. It is 1.5 times. And you have the because exhaust temperature is all, we have a restriction. Why we have a restriction? Because the component will fail. Component, that is the material, decide what will be the maximum temperature, operating temperature, because each material has got it means it will fail at a certain temperature. So a certain temperature and pressure, here it is exhaust temperature, because that is the higher temperature. So it means we'll have to restrict the inlet temperature to control the outlet temperature also. It means the exhaust temperature also, by controlling the inlet temperature. That's why we need to have that 40-45 degrees centigrade what we maintain. Because of that, if it is increasing, your exhaust temperature also will increase because of that. So dew point increases. Once the dew point increases, it means you won't be able to, you have a restriction, because inlet temperature 40 to 40 degrees centigrade, we have a restriction. It means we'll have to maintain that. So dew point, if it is changing, then what will happen? This dew point changes because of the relative humidity and the pressure. Because now the pressure is increased because high powered engine, so dew point will also change. And in that case, we might not be able to bring it to the dew point. In that case, what we have, that's water separator we have. So because modern engine, we have the higher pressure. So that is the reason we won't be able to. And how do we solve it? We have seen that we solve it by the this separator. This separator, it separates the water from the air, and then it gets collected in the gutter, At the trailing edge, you have the gutter, because the change of direction, air can easily change, but water droplets, it won't be able to change, and it will have a relative velocity. Once there is a relative velocity, if you can create, it will get separated because of the different mass. And then Teka, tell me.
Chief, your sound is creating echo.
My sounding is coming echo.
Yes.
But none of the, it means, let us see now. Can you? Is there any echo? Because none of your speaker is microphone is on. Echo usually comes from that microphone. Is it all of you stop the microphone? And it is stopped. I checked already. But are you getting the echo now?
Chief,
Yeah.
it is
Yeah. Tell me.
continue.
It's
Continue,
okay, Chief. It's okay.
Okay. Then this the separator, we have seen that separator, it changes the direction, and because of the different mass, the air can easily change the direction, whereas water cannot, water droplets cannot, and then it hits the blades, and it moves on the surface of the blade, and at the trailing edge there is a gutter or the channel. Last time what I had drawn, it is in that channel it gets collected, and then it moves downward direction, because it cannot move if you have a garter like this, and this is the plate, so it is moving like this because of the mass is more, and then it gets trapped here, and then it cannot move in this direction. So what will happen? It will fall downward direction because it's been heavier, and it gets collected at the bottom and gets coming out from the system. So this is the way we can separate the water, so that adverse effect we can avoid. And this at the bottom, you can have an automatic condensate trap. It means once the water gets collected, there is a float which will lift. So once the water get collected, the float will lift upward direction, and the valve is open, and the water will get drained out. And once the water is not there, valve will, because air pressure is acting from top, and the valve will, the float will be pressed down, and then this will be closed. Once the water is getting collected, it is like a, for an example, steam trap. It is like a same thing. So the water will lift because it will float on the water liquid. So water gets collected, it will move up because of this water, and the float will move up on the water level, and there will be a passage through which the water will come out from the system. So this is the if you see this diagram, this is the flow direction, and in the trailing edge, this is the leading edge because it is entering from here, and in the trailing edge you have this garter. This garter you have where it will get collected, and then it will move down, and then it will get drained out from here. Now the cleaning of turbocharger and air cooler. Now, why do you need cleaning from where the deposits come? In the compressor side, what do you have? Oil mist. From where oil mist is coming? Because in the engine room, the air is containing oil mist, because it is not pure air in the engine room. There are fumes and all that gets that is mixed with the air, and there will be dust, there will be soot. All these things can make a deposit on the compressor side. So this all derived from the atmosphere. And then you have the turbine side. From turbine side, the deposit comes from the fuel oil impurities mainly. So fuel oil will be having the sodium and vanadium, and once it is in correct proportion, that is 3:1, it gets melted and it make a deposit. Then you have the sulfur components, metallic ashes also, iron, nickel. So these all contaminants in high level fuel is having, because we are using the residual fuel where there will be impurities. Those are not distillate fuel. So these all makes a deposit on the turbine side. It will make a deposit on the nozzle ring as well as the turbine blades. Now how to overcome that? You need to clean. Periodically you will need to clean. Compressor side, how do you clean? In compressor side, you have a container, and that container, let us so there is a container. Let us see this diagram. Okay, this is showing a dry cleaning of the turbine. It is the similar like for a compressor side. So in compressor side, you have a container, and there is a filler, and there is a vent, and this is a valve, which is the air pressure is coming from here, and then this is the outlet which is going to the, for an example, this is not a turbocharger side, this is compressor. So this compressor, there will be a nozzle here, and that nozzle is in the air passage. It means the air is entering from the filter. After that, there is a silencer, and then there is a passage through which the air is going to the eye of the impeller. And you inject in the, when it is entering into the eye of the impeller, there you do inject with the air. And what you inject, you fill up with water. This tank will be filled up with water. And how you do, if you see this, so this container you filled with the water, and then you inject the air from the turbocharger itself. It means turbocharger delivery, the air connection is coming from there. So this is cleaning. Cleaning is always better at higher speed, because the how it cleaning, because when it is entering with the air, there will be an impingement effect. So this nozzle will be around this, and then it around the impeller, and it inject it mixed with the water. Water is mixed with the air which is entering from the suction side, and then that water droplets, it impinge the blades. And as the higher RPM, it means it will can impinge, higher impingement you can have, and you can, all the deposit will come out from that impingement. So that's the way it is, and that is the reason the compressor side, it is, we do in this process, it higher RPM, that is higher speed, and compressor side the temperature is less. It means there is no thermal shock problem is not there in the compressor side, and we always do it at higher speed because better cleaning you can have. Full load condition we do. But one thing, it means now if you see this diagram, it means this is filled with water, that is fresh water, and then we fill it up. This we put back the filler cap, and then we open this A first, because this has to be pressurized first, and then we open B. Once we open B, then what will happen? The water will, high pressure will inject with the air, suction air, and then it will make an impingement, and it will clear, means it will remove the deposit on the surface of the impeller. So this is the way compressor side is clean. And how much time you keep? Around 30 seconds we keep. Within 30 seconds it goes inside. It will depend on the design, but it is around 30 seconds, 40 seconds around. So the container will be empty. After that, what do you do? You close the air valve which is coming from the volute casing to the, that is the delivery side of the compressor, to the container, that you shut first, and then B, which is going to the compressor, that you both is sequentially, it A is first shut and B is shut. After that, open the vent. Once you open the vent, it means you release any pressure is inside. So that should not be actually any pressure. Once you shut it, after that this pressure will be released through this. After that you shutting it, after that any residual pressure that you relieve from the vent. And after that check the tank is empty or not. You open the filler cap and check the tank is empty or not. Maybe there is a passage is blocked. Maybe the B which is going to the your compressor, if it is blocked, then the it will not get empty. So if it is not get empty, it means it should get empty within. It means you will have to give more. Suppose partially it is still filled. It means you will have to give more time to enter, or you'll have to check the air side, is there any blockage, or water side, is there any blockage. So the injection nozzle also sometimes get choked. So with the scale and rust, so that has to be cleaned, and then that can be cleaned in the port when, or the anchorage means when the engine is not running, that time you can remove that injection nozzle and clean. So this is the way the air side is cleaned. Now the other side, that is the turbine side, is cleaned in two method, that is water washing and the dry cleaning. And another thing here, you should not use any solvent. Why you don't use solvent? It has to be clean, fresh water. If you use solvent, then due to this solvent, it might not be uniformly impinge, and this solvent can make different, means the when it is removing the deposits, it might not uniformly remove the deposits. That is the problem. Then what will happen? Our balancing of the rotor will be a problem. It will become imbalanced. That's why never use solvent for both sides. So for the, yeah, anybody, any question?
Yes, Chief.
Yeah, Professor Mnet, tell me.
What do you mean by solvent? Is this like a soap or chemical?
Chemical. You see, what is soap? Soap is also a chemical. It is a light chemical. So any solvent means whether it is soap, whether it is your any other chemical. No chemical should be used. Understood that soap itself is a chemical actually. So
Yes, Chief. Understood.
so water washing, how you do the water washing? Water washing you do at, it means we reduce the exhaust temperature. Why do you reduce the exhaust temperature? Whereas for the other side, compressor side, we have not reduced. We have done it at higher speed. That is because of the thermal shock. Because exhaust temperature is high and water you are injecting is very, what is the temperature? It is the normal temperature. So that will make a thermal shock. To prevent that, we need to reduce the exhaust temperature. This exhaust temperature should be around 300. It means it will be less than 320 or 300 degree centigrade, less than 300 degree centigrade, so that the thermal shock will not be there. Means the temperature difference will you will have to reduce. And once the exhaust temperature, but once you are reducing the exhaust temperature, your RPM of the turbine is reducing. It means the effect, definitely the impingement effect will be less, but we cannot help it because of the thermal shock. And all the makers will tell you what should be the exhaust temperature when you are doing the water washing, and you will have to do based on that. So because they know what is the material they have used, how much thermal shock that material can withstand. So exhaust temperature once below the manufacturer's limit, then the turbocharger drain has to be open. Once the turbocharger drain is open, then fresh water is admitted to the turbine. And once the fresh, there are nozzle inside, where it is admitted, it's admitted in the gas inlet casing. So the gas is entering and it will carry this and through the nozzle, once it is coming out, it will be in droplets form, and that will enter with the gas entering into the passing through the gas inlet casing, and then it will pass through the nozzle ring, and nozzle ring also will get cleared because velocity, the pressure energy is converting into the kinetic energy in the nozzle ring, and velocity will increase, and this droplets velocity also will increase because of the erosion effects and the impingement effect. It will clear the nozzle ring, and then with the high velocity, these droplets will impinge the turbine blades and the deposits will be removed. So this is the way. The initially what will be doing, the slowly the water will be admitted. It's not like completely you open the water. So once you open slowly and you check the drain, and drain there will be a funnel through which you can check that what water is coming out or not. Once the water starts coming out, then you increase the flow, because that ensures that the passage of water draining is open. Otherwise, what will happen? Water will fill up in the turbine casing and it will damage your turbine, the turbine side. So this is the way we do the turbine washing. Then what we do, we monitor the drain, the water condition, what is coming out from the turbine. Once that drain water, what you see is the clear water is coming out, it means your cleaning is completed. And it takes around 10 to 15 minutes. So 10 to 15 minutes, it should come the clear. If you do the regular washing on time, you will see 10 to 15 minutes, it's clear water is coming out. Once the water is coming out clear, then you supply water, you shut off. After that, you keep the drain open, because still the water will come out, because inside there are still water. And that water, once it stops coming, then you increase the speed of the turbine. After that, you close the drain. So the cleaning of the water washing of the turbine is completed, and it is usually done by the weekly basis. And for the compressor washing, it is done one every day or alternate day. It means it is around 24 hours or 48 hours around. Now the dry cleaning, if you let us see this diagram, this is not in your, it is not there in your handouts. I'll send you all the diagrams what I actually incorporate, that I'll send you by email. So this is the fresh water, this is the gas inlet casing, and this is the turbine, and this is the drain. So this is the water which is supplied, and this is the valve we opened, and now, and this is the top cock at the injection, there will be nozzle layer, and then this is the drain, and this is the funnel by which we can see. And some turbocharger, they have designed that this is the air outlet which is going to the engine. So there is a tapping here. So if you see this valve position we can change. It means if you turn it this way, this is the position presently. Now there is no washing is going on. What is happening? This side is the air is entering and it is coming here. So the small quantity of air is coming to here, so that it ensured that the passage is always clear. Otherwise, many times it has been found this passage is choked. Once this passage is choked, you won't be able to do water washing. So to keep this passage clear, this small quantity of air you are consuming, but that is very small. It will not affect your performance of the engine, but it will give you benefit of keeping this clear, so that you can periodically do the water washing to keep the turbocharger in good condition. And once you change the position to this, now this side 1 is connected to 3. So that is the position is for the during the cleaning. So after that, once the cleaning is over, you have shut it in, and then slowly increase the turbine engine load and the turbine speed, and after that you shut it off. You change it to this position back, so that this air will keep on flowing in this direction. So this is the way water washing is done. There is another washing is called dry cleaning. So the dry cleaning is done at high speed, because when you are doing dry cleaning, wet cleaning, the temperature is a problem. But dry cleaning, the temperature is not a problem. So what you do, like it is the system which is having a container that is, so suppose if you think about the airside cleaning, it is the same. Instead of water, you are putting some material, cleaning material, which is in dry condition. And what is the cleaning material we use? Groundnut shell and activated carbon or a small grain of rice, that is the broken rice grain, very small size. So these all we use for the dry cleaning. How we do the dry cleaning? We fill up the container, and it is, for an example, let us see this. This is the dry cleaning. You have the screw plug, that is the filler cap, and this container, and this is the compressed air which is coming from the delivery side of the blower. So, or you can have another supply which is coming from the ship's service air. So this is, once how you do it, first you open this cup and then open this cup. So why we open this air supply? To ensure that this is clear. Once this is clear, ensure, we can unscrew. After that we shut this one and then this one. Once we shut it, after that we unscrew it. This is, we remove it, the filler plug, and we vent it out. If any residual pressure, then we fill it up with the cleaning material. Once we fill it up with the cleaning material, after that we put back this plug and we open this first. Once we open this, there will be a pressure here. This become a pressure vessel, and after that we open this. Once we open it, it means this is with the high pressure, it will inject into the, there is a nozzle through which it coming here with the gas inlet pipe. And with the exhaust gas, it will carry through the nozzle ring, it will clear the nozzle ring, as well as it will clear the your any deposit on the turbine blades, it will clear that. So this is the way the turbine side dry cleaning is done. After that, you shut the B first. It means this is B, suppose this you shut first, and after that you sorry, this is A will be shut first. It is just opposite. So A will be shut first and then B will be shut. After that you open the vent. If any residual pressure, you remove, and you open the filler cap and check all the cleaning material has been injected or not. So before that only, that's why you always check that the passage is clear or not. Here you open this, open this, and then open this, so that this passage, the air will flow into this, so that ensures that there is no blockage. And after that, to confirm that all material has been injected or not, that we check that by opening this. After the isolation, we opening this. I open this and check that if there is any remaining, it has been injected or not. So this is the way dry cleaning is done. And since we don't have to reduce the speed, dry cleaning is done around every alternate day, that is the 2 days. It is 50 hours. 50 hours means around 48 hours. So we can do the dry cleaning. So there are certain things to be remembered, that no solvent to be used, because and if the turbocharger, suppose for an example, let me ask you one question. You have taken over a ship from a different ship owner. Ship was sold to your owner, and you have taken over a ship. And then you found that turbocharger efficiency is less. And what will you do in that case? And you found that there is no history of cleaning the turbocharger for a long time. In that case, what action will be taken? Is my question clear to you all? Yeah, Melissa, tell me.
Okay, in this case, we will not clean since we can make imbalance.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
we will make overall.
Yeah, absolutely correct. Do not clean in that case because there is no also history of cleaning for long time. And somebody else also raise hand. Tell me. Because that will make imbalance more or adverse. The situation will be worst because once you do the cleaning, some impingement, some will be. Yeah. So some deposit will come out, some deposit will not come out, and it will make imbalance the rotor more. So that will be a dangerous situation. So that's why then you'll have to remove and you'll have to do the overhauling and it can become unbalanced and then clean and box back. On ship, how do you clean? Actually, chemically we can clean it. We soak it in the chemical and for the longer time and with high temperature. And we can cleaning or cleaning by hand. It means be careful when you cleaning. It should not get damage. Also, any blades or any parts or uneven deposits. Also, it should not be there. Because on shore, what they do the blasting. So that once they do the blasting, it removes all the deposits. So the air cooler maintenance, air cooler also has to be do some maintenance. What is the maintenance we do? Because air, if it is air side, it gets deposits of the oil deposits and the particles which is carrying with the air. Suppose the turbocharger air filter is not good condition, then more deposit will be. If it is good condition, less deposit will be. And because you cannot remove 100%, so that makes deposits on the air side because that fins or passages are very small, and that is the extended fin extended area heat exchanger. The fouling rate is higher because the passages are very less in the air side. So that has to be cleaned. It means air side has to be cleaned as well as the cooling water side also has to be cleaned. Otherwise, your heat transfer rate will reduce. And how we do it? It means this there are one system like ship engine is in service. That time also we can actually clean the air side. There are ships is provided with that. Small dosing pot is there. You filled with diluted air cooler cleaner, that is SSC, and then you inject into the into your air cooler. And once with the air that goes and it cleans the air. But no other solvent should be used. So this is one of the system you can have during the operation you can use, because this air cooler cleaner that chemical is meant for that. It will not have any side effect. Otherwise there can be a side effect if you use the carbon remover and all. Those are very strong chemicals. So don't use any other solvent. So the air cooler requires more cleaning if it become dirty faster. And in standstill condition, when the engine is not running, that time we do clean also with the solvent. That is also, it is the air cooler cleaner And another way we can clean, when we remove this the tube bundle, and then we can soak it into the chemical. That's what I like the generator one. It is done in the on the ship, and during the dry dock, if required, the main engine one is done by the dry dock. They do the same way what you do on the ship for the generator. Since it is a smaller one, you put it in the chemical. They also put it into the chemical and clean the air side and the water side together. You can clean. So this special solvent, in that case, that special solvent can be used because you are removing the complete the tube bundle and put it into the chemical. After that, you can clean it and the with the fresh water and then put back in place. So those special solvent is clean easily the deposits on the air side and the water side together. It gets clean. Yeah, they would tell me.
Yes, Chief, good morning.
Good morning.
Why usually for the generator engines nowadays we stop cleaning the compressor side using water? I don't see some of my ships, I don't see using this cleaning. And I had some of my friends also, they say they are not using anymore for the cleaning of the compressor side for the generator turbo.
Yeah. So generator,
Why is
it means your deposit is, it means deposit is not there, so it's not required. So that the regular cleaning you are talking about, isn't it? So the regular cleaning, if the deposit from the experience, it has been found that the deposits are, and the material also, suppose your material is used such a way, it is self-cleaning material. Like if you see this, because the makers also do the R&D for the material. So this one is self-cleaning material. What does it means? The surface deposit will make when? Because of the asperity of the surface. If the surface asperity is high, your deposit will be more or not? It will be more. If the surface asperity is less, deposit will be less. Now, if there is the smoothness is such so that it does not make a deposit, it will slip out. So it is called self-cleaning material. This is a self-cleaning material. It is polypropylene material. So similarly, the turbine, the compressed air compressor side impeller deposit is less, because if you can maintain that filter also they have developed such a way so that filter does not allow the minimize the particle to very less, and your surface smoothness is such for the impeller blade so that it does not stick onto the blade. So the cleaning is not required. So those kind of turbocharger, they will not have cleaning. So depending on this, whether there is a deposit it's making or not, and this is the way you can reduce the turbocharger maker. They material grade they change so that there is no, it means the asperity is such so that there is no smoothness is such so that there is no deposit made on the impeller, and the filter also, it's not allowing it to pass the material, very small particles, so small amount of particle pass through it, and which is not going to stick onto the make any deposit onto the surface. Clear, Teyut? Yeah, two of the
Yes.
participants has raised hand. Tell me. Yeah, so finish.
Chief,
A minute. Yeah, tell me.
Chief.
A minute, tell me.
So for generator, I have question.
Tell me.
On generator, when I try to dry clean, the revolution of the speed drop from 900 to until 800. So I am always forced to parallel to generator when I make dry cleaning for turbocharger, auxiliary engine. I don't understand why.
because of this, the mass which is making an impingement, it means that reduces the, it means it is not the gas now. It is something either droplets or your granules. So that makes a reduction in the force, what we are getting, the force that which is turning the turbine, which reduces because of that mass. So, and that mass also it will heat, and it will actually it will heat in different position. Because see, if your gas, if you see the gas, that angle of attack will change. Because that particle, it is designed for a gas angle of attack. And that angle of attack will decide how much will be this force, which is rotating the, that is the tangential force or the torque direction force. So that will reduce because of this mass is changing for a granule, whether it is granule, whether it is water, what will happen? It will drop your this thing, the RPM will drop during the cleaning. So it will not be able to maintain the RPM because of that. And also,
So is it normal?
this is normal.
Is normal?
Yes, it is normal. There is no issue on that because it will reduce. So some will reduce more, some will reduce. It will be as per the design. Some will reduce less. So depending on that, what you have taken the preventive measure, that is to make the ship safe, it is the correct measure you have taken. After that, once its cleaning is done, then it become normal, isn't it? So
Yes,
there is
it's
no
become normal.
there is no problem on that. It is a normal thing. Somebody, anybody else want to? Yeah, Sophonias, tell me.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Good morning.
Good one.
For generator turbochargers, I have seen both dry and wet cleaning for turbine side,
Yeah.
but only see the dry cleaning. Is there some special reason or it's just preference?
No, no. What did you say? Generator turbine side, you have seen water and wash, means the wet and dry both.
Yes, I mean, I have seen on different ships, I
Yeah.
have seen both, but on main engine, I have seen only dry cleaning.
No, no, no. Main engine also, why it is dry cleaning mostly? Because main engine RPM has to be reduced. And what will happen? The ship speed will reduce. So that is the problem for the wet cleaning. That's the reason the ships you have worked with, the owner preferred the dry cleaning because he does not have to reduce the speed. That's why many cases what is being done, then what does it mean? It means you can do the cleaning as per the schedule, because you don't have to, that because the charter party will not understand, will not accept that you have reduced the speed because of the cleaning. For them, they are commercial people. For them, this is the speed they need. If you have a dry cleaning, then that problem does not come.
Yes,
That's the reasons many
okay.
many time what has been done, if you have a voyage and you know during the voyage the duration is such so that you can do the cleaning when you are doing the just before the standby of the engine, because you are reducing the speed, that time you do the cleaning. Or after departure, once it is RFA is given, before when you are increasing that time, because pilot is not on board and ship is in safe place, and that time you do, because anyway that time you are increasing the speed, so 10-15 minutes you can do. So to avoid this kind of a situation, that's why dry cleaning you have seen many ship owner they go for that. That's why. So the
Okay, thank you.
So the cleaning is done like this. And the air cooler maintenance, it means air cooler you need to clean, and there is a fixed large engine, there is a fixed installation for cleaning. And this cleaning, if you see this diagram, like the previous turbocharger diagram, air cooler diagram also was there. Here there are nozzles. So it means this tank is filled with chemical, diluted chemical. You put the chemical and then it is filled with water and chemical, and this is the filter. And there will be, yeah, Teka, tell me.
Chief,
Yeah,
so when we make dry cleaning for the main engine turbocharger,
yeah.
we should have to increase the RPM or decrease the RPM. It's not clear for. Can you
Dry
repeat it?
cleaning, for dry cleaning, it is higher RPM we use, normal RPM. So we don't reduce. If we increase, we get the better effect. So at normal RPM, we don't have to reduce the RPM. Suppose load is 80% load we are running, or 85%. So same load, we can, if you can increase, it's better. And same load you can do. So at high load, better cleaning for the dry cleaning. Wet cleaning only because of the thermal stress, thermal shock, we need to reduce on the wet cleaning for the turbine side, because turbine temperature is high. Whereas wet cleaning for the compressor side, we don't need to reduce, because there the temperature is less. So is it clear, Teka?
This one is clear. So what about on the generator? Because the generator is constant RPM, and if you want to clean by the
Generator, what is actually your reason for reduced? You do it in idle condition. When you reduce to idle condition, it means it is in idle condition, then what will happen? Your exhaust temperature is less. So the thermal shock is the problem, because your RPM is same, but exhaust temperature is the problem. So you do it and in idle condition, idle running condition.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
So this is the circulating pump. You have a suction filter. It is taking suction. Diluted chemical is taking suction from here, and this is going to the nozzles. This nozzle, there is inspection cover. Once you open the inspection cover, you can see the nozzles. Sometime, many times, these nozzles are choked. All the nozzle, you must ensure that all the nozzles are clear, so that in spray form, all the chemical, diluted chemical is in the air side, it distributed equally, so that all the deposits from the surface of the area, surface of the fins and the tube external side of the tubes completely is been soaked with the chemical, and then this chemical is sprayed onto the surface, and then it gets collected at the bottom, and it's coming back to the tank through the filter, because once we have the chemical is flowing through this surface, there are deposits that is been coming out, and those deposits we don't want to go back to the system. So there is a filter, it comes to the, it gets separated, those particles in the filter, and the liquid diluted chemical only come to this side and going to the back to the, again it's continuously it is circulating. There is a heating coil, it is steam heating coil, so that at higher temperature we know the cleaning is better, so we increase the temperature. And there is a recirculation line also. It means once we are not cleaning, it means suppose we want to increase the temperature, we can recirculate here, so we can increase the temperature, and then we start cleaning, supplying to this. And after the cleaning, and there is a drain line here, and after the cleaning, what we do the freshwater washing. So once the cleaning is over, we shut this valve and we do the freshwater cleaning or the water washing, and then we drain it to the another tank or the bilge, so that this become the no chemical remain in the air cooler air side. So this is the way it is, the cleaning is done. And how much time we do keep, usually it depends upon the how bad it is fouled. So usually 24 means that 12 hours we keep it for recirculation, and then we remove the deposits. So this is the way we can remove the deposits to the deposit from the clean the air side of the air cooler. So this is the like we check the differential pressure. That's why there is a manometer. Inlet and outlet pressure is measured, and on the differential pressure is increased, it means we know there is a fouling in the air side. So we must clean that. And this is also we do on the regular basis, that we have what I told you, that there is a dashpot, small quantity, and we can inject, but ACC only can be injected. And once it is more dirty, then the larger engine, chances of getting more dirty. So we have fixed installation, what we have seen just now. So at least 12 hours we circulate. It can be more than that also, depending on the fouling. And then after that, we clean by the fresh water. And the water side tube, that is the water side, how do we clean? That in covered we remove, and then with a brush, a special brush, it means that size has to match. And then we clean mechanically we clean with the tube brush the water side. And all the what can be the if it is seawater cooled, what will be the deposits like soft mud deposits, miles, those are the marine growths will be there. So those can be cleaned by the brush. And also we must check if it is seawater cooled, there will be zinc anode, that is the sacrificial anode. That condition we must check if it is the condition is means it has been eaten away, consumed, so we need to change it. So also we can remove the marine growth, hard marine growth, suppose it is, then will be high pressure hose with discolourant, this is a chemical, with that remove, or with the high pressure hose, high pressure water, we can remove those. So turbocharger overhauling during the running checks what we do. Oil level regularly we should check, and filter, the inlet filter we do clean. So because normal operation condition to keep, we need this, so we need to check that. And what are the reason for fault? The exhaust temperature higher than the usual, then what can be the reason? So engine injection system can be a defect, that is the fuel injection system. Turbocharger may be dirty, the turbocharger filter may be dirty, and the exhaust gas boiler may be dirty, that is giving a back pressure. And then blade damage, it is imbalanced, so that the smoothness of the RPM is vibration will be there, your efficiency of the turbocharger will drop. Suppose scavenge receiver is leaking, then also the exhaust temperature will be high. And then defective pressure gauge, it may be defective pressure gauge, it is actually the turbocharger pressure is lower, defective pressure gauge, it can be actually pressure is okay. Dirty filter, mass is less, so the pressure will be less. Dirty turbine, your RPM, the RPM will be less, so the efficiency, because of the efficiency of the turbine will drop. Leaky Leibniz seal, so that air is leaking to the exhaust side, then the pressure will drop, air pressure. And blading nozzle ring is the damage, then also it can happen, because the angle will change if it is damaged, and the turbine efficiency will drop. Dirty exhaust blower, that is also because the back pressure will reduce, so the turbine efficiency will reduce. Then turbocharger pressure is high, then what can be the reason? Engine is overloaded. So the turbine exhaust temperature will be high, turbine RPM will be high, and the pressure will be high. Dirty nozzle ring, if it is partially choked, the velocity will increase because now the area is reduced. So that will cause the higher RPM of the turbocharger, which will cause the higher pressure. Faulty pressure gauge also can give you the false indication that the pressure is high. Turbocharger vibration, what can be the reason? Imbalance. Dirty turbocharger, it will make imbalance, vibration will be high. Then defective bearing or the bent shaft, that also will cause the vibration, higher vibration. Incorrect assembly of the bearing, that's why after assembling you must check the free rotation of the rotor. Then dumping spring in the turbocharger bearing, we have seen those is defective, the vibration will be high. Noise, unusual noise, if you have bearing is damaged, then the vibration will be high, that will cause the noise. Rotor is rubbing on the casing, the noise will, because K clearance is not correct, thrust bearing is not correct position, or it is damaged. So the actual shift of the rotor will make the rubbing effect. Dirty turbocharger, it will become imbalance. Yeah, Teka, tell me.
Chief, what does it mean when we say turbocharger pressure high?
Turbocharger pressure is
Turbocharger pressure.
Turbocharger pressure is high means this is like it can be the air side pressure. This is let us say turbocharger pressure on the high is for the exhaust inlet. Okay, if it is exhaust inlet, the engine is overloaded. That's why the pressure has become higher. And dirty nozzles, it is choking the passage. That's why the exhaust inlet pressure is high, and it can be faulty pressure gauge. If it is the turbocharger exhaust side, but turbocharger air side pressure is high, that is because overload, the RPM is because your pressure gauge is provided on the air side. So exhaust pressure usually, has anybody seen the pressure gauge on the air exhaust side?
Chief, that is my question. I never saw
Yes.
pressure gauge on the
exhaust.
turbocharger like this.
That's why it is the air side. But what is happening in the air side, but exhaust side also pressure will increase, but there is no pressure gauge actually. So that actually we don't check. So the air, because of the overload, the exhaust temperature will be high, the air side pressure will be increased. That is the turbocharger outlet pressure of the turbocharger, that is the air side pressure. Is it clear, Teka?
So Chief, if it is the air side,
yeah,
how could it be the dirty nozzle ring
that
cause?
is the reason. What is the dirty? This is the nozzle ring. Okay. So when it is partially choked, this is the area and this is the area. So when your exhaust is passing through it, because of the difference of area, how much velocity it will gain. And this is the differential pressure also. One of the factor is area. This is a nozzle. Now it is suppose partially choked. For an example, deposit had made and partially it is choked. Now this area is reduced or not? Your velocity will increase or not? That can cause the RPM of the turbocharger higher. Understood, Teka? You can have a situation like this. If it is fully choked, the velocity, there will not be any output. But if it is partially dirty, what is happening? We'll see one of the turbocharger system, what we do, we reduce the area to get higher velocity as low load. Instead of this reducing, it can, due to the deposit, it can make a reduced area. And then this is the inlet at higher area and this is the outlet. It means it is entering from here, it is coming out from here. And now it is partially choked. So difference of area is one of the factor that will make higher velocity, and that will make the turbocharger RPM higher. Because it will slowly deposit, will build, at one point it will be partially blocked. After that, slowly it will maybe fully blocked. Clear? Take understood.
Chief, to
Yeah.
make it more clear,
Yes, sir.
when we are,
Thank you.
Chief,
Yeah.
to make it
Yes,
more
sir.
clear, when we are saying the air side, are we mean but scavenging air pressure?
Yes, scavenging air pressure. That is only one pressure. Other pressure is the atmospheric pressure. So that is the pressure. Because the velocity is increased, your RPM will increase.
Chief, yesterday we said that if the nozzle ring is partially
Yes.
clogged, that means the angle of attack will be different.
Angle
Then,
of attack will
the-
change. But angle of attack, it may be partially choked, but the angle of attack remains same. That also can happen. There are possibilities that can happen. Because see, angle of attack will change as well as the velocity is increased. So this, because of the angle of attack, it can be as some place, it can reduce the efficiency. It can also increase the efficiency. Both situation you can have. Is it clear? Understood?
yes, clear.
But it is not beyond our control. We are not controlling that because we don't know how your deposit will be. So both the condition you can have practically. So the unusual noise, that is the bearing damage and the rubbing effect. Turbocharger is dirty means imbalance. Foreign bodies suppose enter into the turbocharger. Your some particle from the engine, which is, for an example, the small particle from the your engine, the piston ring is broken and enter into that through the though there is a plate which is having a perforated hole through which it should not pass through, but that hole size, suppose less than hole size, there is a particle which is gone into the turbocharger, so it will make a noise because it will hit the blades with high speed and high velocity, and turbocharger also will get damage and you will get a noise. Then oil getting black, it means there is a leakage. So exhaust is entering into the your oil side, that is the bearing side. So sealing air, if it is blocked, then exhaust can enter and it gets contaminated, means the oil gets contaminated. Clearance of the sealing bushes, we have seen those are very fine clearances. It can, clearance is more, it can, exhaust can pass through and it can contaminate your oil. Then loss of oil while running, the sealing bush suppose worn out, then oil is going to the turbine side, other side. An external leakage also you can have, but external leakage, one advantage you can see. Internal leakage you won't be able to see. It means you'll have to judge from where it can leak. So water running out from the blower, what will be the indication if water running out in the blower drain? It means the casing is leaking. And once the casing is leaking, you'll see the exhaust, if it, exhaust side is water cooled. So exhaust temperature, outlet temperature, exhaust temperature of the blower of the turbine is reduced. That is one of the indication. Inlet is okay, but outlet you will see reduced, and turbocharger RPM is not, means it is not because of the expansion, it is some other factor. Possible cause is water leakage, the casing is leakage, or the very high humidity of water. So those two can be, but you will be able to make out because your expansion tank level will drop because of this leakage if it is the casing is leaking, and maybe also very cold water. So for the your cooling, so that also can cause outlet temperature drop. And outlet temperature It means in that case, what will happen? If it is because of the very cold water, it means it will get separated, it will get condensed because of the dew point, and the water will coming out from the blower drain. This is coming out from the blower drain, and if the casing, blower casing also is cooled by the water, then the casing, blower drain casing, water will come. Or high humidity, moisture gets separated, and the drain, it gets coming out from the drain. So, but the exhaust side, if it is water is means the exhaust temperature is reduced, then there is a casing is leaking. So because it is cooled by the water, so that water goes inside, and the outlet exhaust temperature, you will see it is dropping. It is drastically dropped. And if you open the drain, you will see through the drain water is coming out because of this leakage of the turbine side casing. Now blower failure, if blower is failed, then what you do? You need to blank the turbocharger. It means in that case your engine is running in aspiration, or you will be running with the auxiliary blower. So how do you blank it? It means you'll have to blank it. You remove the rotor, and then where the partition wall is, that is dividing the exhaust side and the air side. You put a blank, there will be a blank, and that blank will fit into that, and you bolt it, those blank, instead of the partition plate. Now you are blanking the exhaust side and the air side. It means exhaust, suppose there is only one turbocharger, you'll have to allow the exhaust to go out, because you cannot block the exhaust. So once you remove the turbocharger rotor and you blank it, then exhaust will pass through the passage inlet, means that if you see this, so you have removed this and you put a blank here, or let us see this. So this rotor is removed and you put a blank here. Once you put a blank here, then the exhaust, what will happen? It will come through this, and then it will move like this. So you can remove this nozzle ring also, or nozzle ring, actually it's not going to do any problem, because you have removed the rotor. Even with the nozzle ring, you have blank it, you have separated the air side to the exhaust side, and exhaust will go out from this. So this is the way blanking is done, so that exhaust we are allowing it to go out. We cannot restrict the exhaust. Now air supply is not there from here, so this will be naturally aspirated, and because air will be entering like this and coming out like this, and it is going to the cooler, and then it is going to the scavenge air manifold, and you can run the you will be running the auxiliary blower, so some pressure it will be you will be getting. So both the auxiliary blower, you run it on manual, so that continuous supply is there. So this is the blanking of the turbocharger. In case of failure, yeah, Teka, tell me.
So Chief, when we isolate the turbocharger, okay, in this kind of turbocharger design, I think to the blower side we can block, but the other kind of design that the exhaust gas is only at on the back of the turbine. Can we isolate on the turbine side also?
Turbine side also means, if you isolate, it means there will be an isolation for the exhaust to pass through. There will be. Another thing is there. Are you talking about one turbocharger you are having? or two turbocharger?
No, no,
If it is-
if the turbocharger design is not the same like you show us here in the picture. I
Yeah.
mean, this picture, the exhaust outlet is of the turbine and compressor. But other turbochargers, the outlet of the exhaust gas from the turbocharger is also the backside on the turbine side. Yeah.
That is outlet you are talking about. That is the radial turbocharger.
Yes, about the
This
radial
one?
turbocharger.
Yes. This one you'll be able to have
Yeah.
the, once you remove this, you'll be having to blank here. You put a blank here, exhaust will enter and go to the EGB. So there will be always a
Okay,
provision.
sir. This is
Yeah. So this is the way we blank it. Now, if you have more than one turbocharger, then it is different. More than one turbocharger, if you have, then what we have, it means in that case, if we have more than one turbocharger, in that case, we don't have to blank it. It means without blanking also, we can, it means why we are actually removing the rotor so that the exhaust can go to the outlet, to the EGB and to the atmosphere. If you have two, it means it is going to the other turbocharger because it has to, exhaust has to go to the other turbocharger to run the turbocharger. In that case, what we do, we lock the turbocharger rotor. Turbocharger rotor can be locked. So we lock the turbocharger rotor and then we use it means the exhaust is going, some exhaust will go to this turbocharger through in normal condition, but it will not rotate the turbine, and other gases, it will be divided into two. It means other turbocharger will be still in operation with the same normal flow. So in that case, we can lock the turbocharger rotor and then we run the engine at low RPM, low load, because now only one turbocharger it is in use. But for the pulse system, we cannot do that. The constant pressure system, we can do that because when you are not turning your turbocharger rotor, but exhaust is heating and going out to the atmosphere, it means that force will make a torque onto the shaft. And for pulse system, as we know, there is no expansion and the energy contained till the turbocharger, it reaches to the turbocharger, then that torque will be very high. That can damage your turbocharger rotor, so which we don't want. So that's why for constant pressure system, we can lock the turbocharger, damage turbocharger, whereas for the pulse system, we cannot lock the turbocharger. We'll have to remove the turbocharger. So because it will experience very high torque because the energy contained in all load is high. Now the bearing overhauling, you have both side bearing. How we overhaul? It means you remove the drain plug, drain the oil from the sump, and after that you remove Sophonius, tell me.
Okay, Chef. Isn't it better to block this turbocharger, because if we let it open, then we will be losing some, even if we have two turbochargers, that's what I'm talking about, then we will be losing some energy through the blocked turbocharger, so enough air is not coming. So isn't it better to block it and move all the energy to one turbocharger and supply a little bit more?
Are you talking about the air side?
No, I mean the exhaust side. If we don't block it, then we will be losing the energy through there.
If sometime there can be two situations. One situation, you don't have time to remove the rotor. situation, outside situation is such, it is not permitting you, you'll have to start the engine faster. Another situation can happen once you block this, the exhaust for one turbocharger, other turbocharger will be overboost. Because it has got a design criteria, what will be the RPM? Even RPM will become very high because now the exhaust, all exhaust will go to the other turbocharger. Then that turbocharger can be having the higher RPM, that RPM might be exceeding the design RPM. And all the parameters, the pressure, the engine also can be overboost, you can have the surging. Understood? It will depend on, now there is a design of the engine where you can cut off one turbocharger at low load. So that turbocharger is designed to run, but that will be at the lower load. Higher load, both the turbocharger will be working. Like we have seen one of the V-type engine, the one turbocharger we cut off. In two-stroke engine also we can do. There is design. So there are complications. All this, you'll have to consider all these things before taking a professional judgment. Because that turbocharger, it means now it is divided, some exhaust is going through this, that is the normal condition it was going through this, isn't it? The moment you blank it, it means suppose you are blanking it here, exhaust, then all the exhaust will go to the one turbocharger that might get overboosted, or it might exceed the design parameter, which is also not desirable. If it is exceeding, then there will be surging. Understood, Sophonias?
Yeah, I was saying this because anyway we are going slow.
Yes, even slow
One
also
turbocharger,
it will
that's
depend. That's why manufacturer clearly will give you the instruction what is to be done. And always
okay.
These are the abnormal situation. This is not the normal situation. You'll have to be very, very careful about the decision. Always what the manufacturer says, because he knows, he has done the design of the engine. What will be the design maximum parameters which is given to us. So we need to be within that. So
Okay.
even at a low load, suppose that engine is designed, we have seen how we overcome. At low load it is made such a way so that it can match the demand and supply. In that case, at low load also it will get overboosted. So depending on the situation, you consider all the aspects and then you take the decision. But that is the reason it has been locked, and then the exhaust will be passing through that, and it will be divided in normal condition, and the other turbocharger will be in use. So here, how do you remove the bearing? This is the locking, because this is the pipe, suction pipe, which is taking the suction from the sump, and then this is a gear pump which is driven by our turbocharger rotor, and the casing, it will be stationary. To make casing and the pipe and the delivery pipe make stationary, this is the arrangement which is stopping to rotate with our shaft. Shaft is rotating, the driving gear is rotating, so the casing should be in stationary. So in this case, what happens? This we will drain the oil and then remove the gear pump first. And so once we remove the gear pump, and then this locking we remove, and then this is the